Hey guys, for this video today I'm just going to go through some of the practice problems and just kind of show you where you can find the stuff that we did in class. So this is the PowerPoint that has those rules on it right here. Over here, these are the actual notes from the board. So it's basically just exactly what I had written on the board, so you guys can look at that. And then this is your answers. This is the actual classwork. And then if you guys go over here to classwork for today, it'll have the answer sheet, and you can click on that answer sheet and see all of the answers and all the rules. So I'm just gonna go over some of these for you guys, just some that I thought you might have a problem with. We are gonna be using these rules, so I'm gonna leave these up on my screen. So this is the answer sheet that you guys have in front of you that you should have printed off and be checking your work. Everything on the front was kind of broken down into pieces. So for example, when they ask you to write the rule, this is what I want. This is the rule. It's the 180-degree rotation, but the actual rule is you start off with x, y, and you end up with negative x, negative y. And that's how we started off with the point for -2. This was just an example. You didn't have to do that. But you started off with the point right here for -2, and after you apply this rule, you end up with changing the sign of both, and you end up with the point -4, over there, okay? Same thing on this one, guys. You had to just tell them what the rule was. So just by looking at how the figure changed, you could have said it was 90 degrees counterclockwise or 270 clockwise. Remember, those are the same rule, right? Looking at the rules that we had on the board, 90 degrees clockwise, 270 counterclockwise is the rule. XY turns into the point Y, -x, or 90 degrees counterclockwise, and 270 clockwise turns into the point -YX. So the one that we were using on this problem was the 90 degrees counterclockwise, so you should have written that rule right there. 180. Remember, on 180, all that happens is the points just change signs. Both of the numbers change signs. The rest of these guys, we're just asking you to get one point and apply the rotation rule. So you didn't have to actually move the entire figure to rotate the entire figure. They just ask you to choose certain points. So 180, if you look at point C, that was the point 0,2. Now when you're having to change the sign of a 0, you can't change the sign of 0. So the 0 actually stayed the same on that one, so that one was a little tricky. But you did change the sign of the 2. So this point C, the original, ended up as C prime right here, and the point was 0, -2. 90 degrees clockwise, again, hopefully you guys are able to apply these rules. Remember, for that one, you switch places, change the sign of the one on the right. When the numbers are the same, again, it can be a little confusing, but if you switch those numbers, they would have been 3, -3, and then you change the sign of the one on the right, that would have ended up 3, 3. Let's see, I think these are all pretty much the same. You guys can hopefully follow them by my work. You're looking, again, trying to figure out, you have to write down the original ordered pair, guys. So for all of these, you'll notice I wrote down what the original ordered pair was on the graph. And then I always also did the arrow to show you which quadrant it was going to end up in. All of this stuff's gonna help you guys make this a little bit easier. All right, on the back, I'm gonna go ahead and do, or walk you through one of these. So let's do one at the top and then we'll do one at the bottom. All right, so number 11, it was 180-degree rotation. So I started off and I just wrote down the original ordered pairs. So I found the original ordered pair for S, which was 2, 2, B was 4, 4, and L was 5, 0. And then I applied the rule. Remember, for 180 degrees, our rule is you do not switch places. The numbers don't switch places, but you change both signs. So that means for all of these numbers, all I had to do was change both signs. So for S, it would have been -2, -2, B, -4, -4, and L, -5. And remember, 0, when you change the sign, just stays 0. And then I just went ahead and graphed those. And it made sense because it did move 2 quadrants, so it ended up over here in this 3rd quadrant. And of course, remember, if it's in the 3rd quadrant, all of the numbers are negative, The only reason that one is 0 is because it's right on the x-axis, so that's why it's 0 and it's not going to have a negative number there. All right, and then let's look at one down here at the bottom. Let's do this, how about 90-degree clockwise when we'll do this 13. So on 90 degrees clockwise, that means, so they started off with this figure, you're going to move 1 quadrant to the right, or in a clockwise direction. So in this case, we were moving up to that second quadrant. So 90 degrees clockwise, the rule is that you have to take the ordered pair that you started with, switch places, and change the sign of the one on the right. So that's what I have written there. So I had to write in all the original ordered pairs. So A was -3, -2, B was -2, 0, and C was -1, -3. Then I just went ahead and I switched the places. So this one would have been -2, -3, 0, -2, and -3, -1. And then I had to change the sign of that second number. So after you switch places, then you change the sign. You have to do it in that order. Switch places, then change the sign. And then I ended up with all those ordered pairs. I knew it was going to end up in this second quadrant, so I knew the points had to be negative, positive. Remember, if it's 0, it doesn't really count as a negative, but if it's on that y-axis, it's going to be 0. And that was positive, and then this one was negative, positive. Okay, looking at the other ones, guys, hopefully, again, just follow along. Make sure you're writing down the original order pairs, and make sure that the numbers are switching places, and you're changing the sign of the correct one using those rules. All right, guys, if you have any other questions on this, just comment in the comment box on your Google Classroom, and please make sure you fill out the